Hey everyone, welcome to Mythology Explained. In today's video, we're going to be discussing Tartarus. Tartarus was the great abyss, the bottomless chasm, the deep dark that existed beneath Gaia. It was one of the primordial deities, which meant that it was both person and place, simultaneously existing as a god and as the manifestation of one of the aspects of creation. As a place, Tartarus was usually featured in Greek mythology as the infernal plane of the underworld, reserved for unforgivable sinners and dangerous enemies, such as the Titans and the monster Typhon. Tartarus was one of the 5 first-generation primordial deities, which meant that he, along with Gaia, the personification of the earth, Eros, the personification of love and desire, Erebus, the personification of darkness, and Nyx, the personification of night, was one of 5 deities to emerge from chaos, the great void that existed before all else. According to Hesiod, Earth existed equidistant between the heavens and Tartarus. He said that an anvil dropped from the heavens would take 9 days and 9 nights to plummet to Earth, and that the same anvil would again take 9 days and 9 nights to plunge through the darkness from Earth to the depths of Tartarus. Hesiod also described the outer limits of Tartarus, which he said was fenced in bronze and wrapped in darkness, triple wrapped, in fact, like a triple-banded necklace. Tartarus, as envisioned by the Roman poet Virgil, more so resembled the conceptualization of hell the devil ruled over. Per his description, the gates of Tartarus were wrought of indestructible adamant. There was an iron tower that loomed over them, with the Fury Tisiphone keeping watch. The gates existed at the bottom of a cliff that bristled with stone spikes. Tartarus itself was enclosed by 3 walls, which were, in turn, surrounded by Phlegethon, a river fire, and the anguished cries of those tormented within pierced the ears of those nearby. Tartarus was one of 3 places the dead could be sent. There was Elysium, which was a paradisiacal land reserved for those who had distinguished themselves, like heroes and kings. Earlier on, Elysium was located at the edge of the earth, and those who earned a place there were transported to it by the gods. Later, though, mostly as a consequence of Virgil's depiction of the underworld in the Aeneid, Elysium, while its conceptualization as a paradisiacal land remained intact, was relocated, becoming one of the planes of the underworld, instead of a separate land. There was the Asphodel Meadows, which was where those whose lives were defined by mediocrity, neither damning themselves with sin, nor immortalizing themselves with lofty deeds, were sent. And there was Tartarus, which was where those wicked and wretched, those whose lives were stains on the great mosaic of mortal existence, were condemned to. In the underworld, there were 3 judges, each a son of Zeus, who determined where each person was sent after they died. Aeacus was said to judge Westerners, Rhadamanthus, Easterners, and Minos at the deciding vote. The punishments dispensed in Tartarus were unique to each person, and depended on what sins a person was guilty of in the mortal world. Sisyphus was condemned to roll a boulder up a hill, perpetually, as the boulder would always roll back down to the bottom upon reaching the top. Ixion was bound to a flaming wheel, and thereby condemned to spin in agony for all eternity. Tantalus was cursed to stand in a pool next to a tree with low-hanging fruit, but the branches would move out of arm's reach each time he tried to grab and pick one. Ocnus was sentenced to forever weave rope that was constantly eaten by a donkey, and King Phlegyas was set in rock, immobilized and entombed, and had a feast placed in front of him. Unable to eat, he continuously shouted not to despise the gods, cautioning others. Because of his description, which was the deepest and foulest place in all of creation, Tartarus' appearance in Greek mythology was sparse. Though he was also a god, he almost exclusively featured as an infernal plane of existence in which the vile, amoral, and sacrilegious individuals were sent. One of his most human moments was his union with Gaia that produced Typhon, the most powerful monster in all of Greek mythology. A monster with such terrifying appearance that it almost escapes description. A tangled mass of 100 serpent heads writhed from his shoulders. The sounds of every fearsome beast thundered from him, and his eyes were pits filled with fire that blazed like open furnaces. By Echidna, sometimes referred to by the moniker Mother of Monsters, he sighed many of the monsters in Greek mythology, and Echidna, by Apollodorus' account, is also a child of Tartarus, though other versions of her parentage, such as Hesiod's, have her as the daughter of Ceto, a sea goddess. And that's it for this video. If you enjoyed the content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. As always, leave your video suggestions down below.